Happy New Year's, everybody. Welcome to Heroes Avenue. My name is Darren, and today we're going to be talking about mostly Zack Snyder stuff today. We have a lot to talk about, actually, so let's just go down the list. So first is the Zack Snyder cut, and we got a glimpse of when the movie is going to actually release, the specific date. So we know it's going to be released in March 2021. But IGN, they posted on their Facebook that the Snyder Cut is going to be released on March 20th. So I don't know if this is true because no one's really reporting it. I actually saw it on Twitter. One of you guys posted it or retweeted it, and yeah, you guys said it was from IGN's Facebook page, and I definitely found it there, and it says Zack Snyder's Justice League, March 20th. So yeah, so there you go. We have an exact date to look forward to. Actually, it's exciting. I'm excited. I'm juiced. I'm sure everyone on this channel is excited as well. So let's go. So we can just count the days from then, and it's gonna be so fun. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next story with Zack Snyder again. So yesterday on Rob's video, he talked about how, you know, Zack Snyder went on a YouTube channel, and you know, in the back of Zack's video, right behind him was a poster of Wonder Woman. That same video, or that same interview, he talked about the future of DC films and if he has any plans on making more. And this is what he said: "Look, I never thought I'd be doing this. I didn't think I'd be finishing Justice League. The truth is, it's been widely reported, and I have no issue. This is an old movie. This is years old movie I'm working on. The DC universe has gone and branched off and done its own thing, and that's fine. As far as what I did, and as far as what my vision for what I wanted to do with these characters and the journey I wanted them to go on, it's well known that I plan on more movies, 5 movies or something, but I'm busy. I've got a lot going on. Is it cool that the fans have so much faith in the trajectory? Yes, it's amazing, and I couldn't be happier. And I'm excited for them to see the Justice League so they could drink the entire elixir of Justice League. But would I continue? I have no plan to. But like I said, I didn't think I'd be here, so who knows?" You know what I like about Zack Snyder is that this guy believes so much in the DCEU. I mean, talk about Kevin Feige. This guy would have been our Kevin Feige if Warner Brothers just stick to his vision. But unfortunately, the movies that he made were so divisive, and it just didn't happen that way. But I feel like they still should have used what he's built, or the pillars that he created, as, you know, as a way to tell a cohesive timeline of DC films. And you know, I remember the first slate that came out for the DC films, and it was so exciting. I was juiced, everyone was juiced, and it was something to admire. But anyways, I just love hearing Zack Snyder talk about his vision and what he would have done with the DC films. And it's sad to see him accept the fact that, you know, DC has gone a totally different way, and I totally respect how he is not, you know, hostile about that, and he's not talking shit. I love that. You know, he is a honorable man, and he understands the business, and you know, he even said himself he has a lot of things going on. I'm sure there's a lot of projects that he wants to do, but you know, the fact that he could have done more with DC films and he wish he's done more is pretty sad to me. But I love how he knows that, you know, the fans totally have his back, and he totally respects our spirit and our love for these movies. And you know, I'm sure you guys already know the hashtag Restore the Snyderverse has been trending, or was trending, over the weekend, and that is so dope. And I love how powerful the fans' voices is. And we all know that, you know, the fans' voice is very powerful, especially with the Snyderverse, you know, or the Snyder Cut, because it's coming out now on HBO Max because of us. And you know, who knows, at this point, we may see some sort of Snyderverse in the near future, whether that's in the cinematic verse or in the comic book version, right? So we already know that, you know, Zack Snyder, he is fans of Jim Lee, and they've talked, and you know, there are discussions that there's a possibility that, you know, Snyderverse could continue in the comic book realm. And even though that's not the best option for all of us, you know, I would rather see that happen and play out rather than it not happen at all. Because we know that, you know, Walter Mata, he did renew his contract with DC Films, and according to Grace Randolph, he's not, he doesn't like the Snyder Cut. So the fact that, you know, that if that's true, I don't see Walter Mata, you know, moving forward with the Snyderverse and trying to build more movies around that. But who knows? I mean, there is that chance that, you know, people are saying that maybe the Snyderverse could continue in HBO Max. I would think that if, you know, when the Snyder Cut launches on March 20th, if it's so good and it just blows everyone out of the water and everyone's watching it and the views are insane, you know, I would think that, you know, talks could possibly come back, and maybe they could continue, you know, Snyderverse's world in HBO Max. And I would, you know, if the Snyderverse were to come back, I would bet my money that it would go in the HBO Max route rather than a theatrical release, because I'm pretty sure, you know, Walter Mata is, you know, super gung-ho with the Flashpoint rebooting the DCU. You know, the Flashpoint is a smart play. It just sucks that, you know, it's not going to fall in lines with, you know, with what Snyder has built with, you know, with Man of Steel and BVS and the Snyder Cut. I want to go and continue on and read off what Kevin Smith says about the Snyder Cut's ending. Here's what he said. He says, "I happen to know that the ending that he..." Oops. He says, "I happen to know that the ending that he's got for the Snyder Cut is not a cul-de-sac. It takes a weird neighborhood, but it's not a cul-de-sac. You can keep fucking going with that story based on what I've heard from a friend." So I love Kevin Smith. This guy is awesome. He always has something to say, and he keeps it 100. And so the fact that he's talking about like how the ending is not a closed ending, and it leaves it, basically he's saying is the ending of the Snyder Cut, he leaves it wide open, right, for interpretation, and or wide open to tell more stories, right? And we've seen that, we saw the ending with a Joss Whedon cut with Deathstroke meeting like Lex Luthor to say that the villains are going to unite for Justice League 2. We already know that, right? And I'm not surprised that, you know, Zack Snyder is doing something similar in the Snyder Cut version. And so that keeps me excited, whether we're going to see that, you know, play out in the comic book realm or in the HBO Max realm. You know, it is up to how things occur with the Snyder Cut release. Again, I definitely feel like if the Snyder Cut is like rated so well critically on Rotten Tomatoes, not to say that Rotten Tomatoes, you know, is the end all be all, but I mean it seems to determine how movies, you know, play out and if there's going to be a sequel or not. I mean, it definitely had some say as to whether the Snyder Cut is going to continue, because BVS was so divisive. Even though it made so much money, it didn't hit $1 billion, but it made, I believe, around 800 million. So that's a lot of money. But it wasn't critically acclaimed. It got like I think it was like 50 or 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. Really disrespectful rating. So yeah, I love Kevin Smith. I love what he's saying. And so yeah, I mean, we've seen this happen. We've seen comic book adaptations of movies, of TV shows. You know, I saw a prequel of a comic book prequel of a Green Lantern movie in the comics, and I think I saw one for Avengers. I think they do one for mostly every comic book movie that comes out. They normally do like a prequel, and for a sequel, I saw it with Smallville. They continued the Smallville TV show in a comic book form, and they showed Clark Kent wearing the suit and all that, and it was fun. And this could possibly happen with the Snyderverse, and it's no different. And like I said, I would rather see a version of the Snyderverse play out in any kind of medium. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is Ray Fisher, because Grace Randolph, she went onto Twitter and basically talked about what will happen with Ray Fisher and Cyborg. And this is what she tweeted. They're auditioning actors this month to take over the role of Cyborg in Flashpoint, and Andy Muschietti is heading up the search. I confirmed this with 2 sources, and we know that Warner Brothers has not been totally upfront in response to Cyborg and Snyder Cut news. Finally, in another tweet, she says, heard Flashpoint's been rewritten several times by different writers in the past few months. Latest versions have had Cyborg, but after today, don't be surprised if he's written out again. Who knows final form of movie, considering MCU getting to multiverse first. So like I said earlier, you know, Walter Hamada is not a big fan of the Snyder Cut, and the fact that, you know, Walter Hamada had some play, I don't think he had a significant role in the Joss Whedon reshoots, but he was involved. And Ray Fisher, you know, he went out and said he doesn't want to be involved with Walter Hamada at all, and you know he publicly said that. And so, you know, Walter Hamada, it just makes sense for him to recast, or to have Andy Muschietti recast, you know, the Cyborg role, and to leave Ray Fisher out of it. It's sad. I mean, I love Ray Fisher. I mean, that guy is awesome. I want to see more of his acting on the screen. I recently watched the 3rd season of True Detectives, and Ray Fisher, he's in there. He plays the son of Mahershala Ali's character, and he does brilliant. I mean, he doesn't have like a huge role, but he plays a good son, and he plays a good character, and he did very well. And I just want to see more of him because he's such a great actor. And I love his personality. I love what he's doing on social media as well, and he's such a positive person. And it's really sad to hear all the shit that they went through during the reshoots, and it sucks. And everyone needs to be accountable. And you know, the fact that, you know, Walter Hamada, he recently went out and said that he has extended his contract is a complete response and jab towards Ray Fisher and what he's trying to, you know, do. And because, I mean, Ray Fisher's trying to tear down, you know, Jeff Johns, John Berg, Walter Hamada, and trying to tear down their names. And that was a complete response to a complete response from Walter Hamada to Ray Fisher. So I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. There's a lot to talk about, but I'm glad that we finally got a release date, March 20th, for the Snyder Cut. Hopefully it's true. No one has said anything about it, but that's a date that we can look forward to. But let me know what you guys think about Zack Snyder and him having no plans to continue the DC verse. So let me know in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you guys again. Bye.